Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cinema Attacks Live. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the 1968 Giullio Questi movie Death Laid an Egg. And then before that, we're just going to chit chat about movies. Let me get this set up. We were trying to fix our audio, so just be aware that we might have some technical difficulties to start off with, but we're working on it. And so, guys, Scott, welcome again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Eli, how's it going?
Very good. Very good.
All right. So, I wanted to start off with. So, last week I discussed Summer Rental, the John Candy movie. And so I bought it for $3 from Barnes and Noble, and I somehow lost a copy. I somehow lost it, and then I was cleaning up and I found it. It was like stuck in between a desk and something else. So I have two copies of Summer Rental. If anyone wants this, just contact me.
I wouldn't be against it.
That's not very inspiring, Eli.
I mean, I love John Candy. I've never seen it, oddly enough.
But if anyone, just contact me. There's an email at the bottom, however you want to do it. And it's yours. If you're in America, I'm not paying $27 to ship a $3 DVD.
Yeah, exactly.
And welcome, James. Let me get this chat going.
James.
What came first, the murderous menage a trois or the egg?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, this is one of the great philosophical questions.
Yes.
to be or not to be, to death or to egg. And the other thing is, I have a pile of digital copies, but I think some of these are expired, but it's hard to tell because it says code may not be valid after 2023.
Yeah, I've had that problem too.
So I don't know which ones of these actually work.
They're all worth trying. I bought movies from like Dollar Tree that said, expired in 2012, and they still work. So.
Wow. So they don't honor that for sure, I guess. I always assumed there was like a deadline, and if you like the day after, it's just done for. You couldn't do it. I guess not.
Maybe it's supposed to be, but nobody cares enough to turn it off. So I don't know.
But, maybe a total empty threat. Don't fucking use this after 2019.
I've redeemed 10-year-old ones.
Yeah,
just fine. So I mean, they could always take them away, right? In 2 seconds, but they worked initially.
Wow, that's cool to know. So you gotta be like Scott. You gotta try shit out.
Yeah, I mean, what's takes you 15 seconds to type in their little code and see what happens.
Yeah, it's like typing in the old NES passwords, basically.
Yeah, numbers and letters, like 35 different characters.
Yeah. So if anybody wants this, you can contact me. It's a bunch of random movies.
Perfect.
Smile 2, Parasite, Dune 2, Scarface, Pretty in Pink, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, perfect example of variety.
Yeah.
Those are Dollar Tree movies.
Those are studio films. What?
I miss the Dollar Tree movies. It was so fun to go in there and paw through all that garbage. Mine at least doesn't have them anymore. And I was following a forum of obsessive people cataloging what they found, and it's dead now. I think they don't have movies anymore.
Okay, yeah, ours stopped like at least a couple of years ago.
Okay,
which it was bummed me out too. There was a point where I would go to every Dollar Tree. I'm like, man, I'm getting turned down at every single one now. So I think that in my area, it might just be totally done.
I got psychotic about it. I was following the forums like, oh, somebody found Wolf Cop 2 somewhere, and
Oh,
so
good
I was
idea.
hitting all the stores around, and every couple of days I go back, and so free up a lot of time anyway.
So the last time I went to my local Dollar Tree, they had a bunch of random Woody Allen DVDs.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Like they had Zelig and Purple Rose of Cairo.
Wow.
But I already had them. So
Mm-hmm.
Radio Days and some other ones. But it was like mostly Woody Allen DVDs. For some
I know,
reason.
weird coincidence.
Like 80s and 90s Woody Allen movies.
Is that were those MGM?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, I remember one of the last big drops was like a bunch of like random 80s and 90s MGM movies.
So before I was listening to some poser nonsense, and I want to show off the cover here. Wait, where's the? How do I do just So this is I really love this cover. So this is an AOR album, a British AOR band, Shy.
Shy.
And this is 1985.
That cover.
Yeah.
That looks awesome. I love that logo. It looks so freaking awesome and brutal, and
just so metal.
Yeah. And okay. And this is really not very good, but it's AOR leaning hard rock.
So very of its time, I'm guessing. Generic as hell, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the hilarious thing is the hype sticker. It has a review from Kerrang, or it's an excerpt from a Kerrang.
Oh
review.
God, I can't wait to hear what they said about it.
And this is great. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. And I'm an AOR aficionado, but if I want, I like my AOR very AOR. I don't need heaviness or like heavy riffs or anything, because usually they can't pull off both.
No.
So this is the Kerrang review of Shy, an album nobody likes, least of all heavy metal fans. Okay. So Kerrang, perhaps the greatest exponents of pop-inspired metal so far discovered.
So far.
Yeah.
Cutting edge.
So this is 1985. Laced with dripping harmonies, glorious hook lines, and pouting presence.
So they got paid. They got paid to write this review, basically.
So this is yeah, right. Hookers and blow.
Dripping and pouting.
So I love pout, but it's like they're implying that there's a sad boy element in this album.
Ooh.
Is what I'm taking away from
I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
Shy turns out to be the ultimate high in a writhing or I can't even say this. It's so ridiculous.
Like, who came up with these words associated?
I need to find out who wrote this.
Yeah. Some asshole.
Get find a picture of them.
Those Martin Popoff.
Shy turns out to be the ultimate high in a writhing orgy of luxurious American noise.
American noise. Huh.
This is getting me hot.
Yeah. What the hell?
What's going on in this record? I need it.
So I saw that hype sticker. I saw that cover, but disappointed.
I mean, I'd buy that for like if it was a few dollars. That's about it.
Yeah, that's a dollar bin one for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't pay too much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 12 to 15 or something.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Riskable. Kring, Kaching, Kronos.
So Eli, I was watching a few of your videos, and I can't remember that you reviewed the new movie by the fucking, I can't remember their names.
Philippou brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Australian brothers.
Yeah.
And it's the something with Sally Hawkins in it.
Yeah, Sally Hawkins. Man, yeah, it was a cool movie. I really liked it. I felt like I tried to make a really vague review, and I think I made it a little bit too vague, and I actually am embarrassed about that now. But whatever. I really liked the movie though, so that part remains.
What's the name of it again?
Bring Her Back.
Oh, Bring Her Back. It's such a generic name.
It is a generic name. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be. I don't know. I really liked it. I hope I'm not overhyping it because I feel like it's gonna be one where it's going to be, those two brothers are becoming like darlings. So it's going to be really critically praised, I think. But I think a lot of smaller critics are going to kind of trash it a little bit. But I liked it a lot.
Are those the Talk to Me guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's another, there's other movies called Talk to Me. So I can never. But the only thing I will say, Talk to Me, I did like it a lot. The only thing that was disappointing was just the reviews of it. They always said how original it was, and it was the most original horror movie of the year, and they kept repeating that. And to me, I really liked it, but it's just the like Ouija board type of story. Like I didn't really find it
not super original.
Like the general plot, like how it was done, I thought was original, and especially the
that's
ending.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree with you. Actually.
But I'm finding, especially with horror reviewers on YouTube, if it's not just a sequel, they'll just hype up how original the movie is, even if it's just a slasher movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be a response to everyone being so angry that everything is a sequel and everything, that they're maybe going too far in that direction of everything shouldn't be,
Yeah. But then they're like, because you keep hyping how original it is. I'm thinking like this movie is going to be crazy.
Yeah. And then you see it, you're like, oh, seen this. And haven't seen that, seen this.
Simon. Oops. Thank you for showing up again. We appreciate it.
It seems like you forgot somebody.
Hey man, don't piss off Simon. He's our barely remaining ally and over there in England. We got to be extra nice to British people for a while. And then we can go back to shitting on them like we always have.
Yeah, who cares? What are they going to do?
I'm just kidding, Simon. I love British people.
Well, I just picked up. Sorry. Go ahead.
Or just because we're on this movie, so you mentioned Sally Hawkins, not really knowing her except from The Shape of Water.
Yeah, like one of her most recent movies.
She's a character actress, and she pops up in a lot of stuff. But the one real another starring role of hers is a movie called Happy Go Lucky, which is a movie cool. I really loved. I think it's from 2009 or so. The Mike Lee movie. It's basically she's a school teacher that's so happy and positive she annoys everybody. And then I think she never learned to drive, so she has to take driving lessons. And the instructor is, I forgot the actor's name, but he's like the most bitter SOB on the planet. And then so they have to basically coexist. And it's not like it's really, really good. It's not a stupid comedy like that sounds.
Yeah.
It's very much
so smart, like a smartly written,
like a character premise study type of thing. But she's in like that entire, like every shot of that movie, like it's all about her.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
that's the ultimate Sally Hawkins movie as far as I'm concerned.
Cool. What did you guys think about Shape of Water? Like if we're just like for 10 seconds of talking about it.
Yeah, I liked it. I'm not the biggest Guillermo
Yeah.
del Toro fan.
I'm a fan of the man himself, but not as much of his a
Yeah, I
lot of his
love
work.
his
I'd
like
say.
he did the movie I really love is Dragon Slayer, and he does the Disney movie, and he does the commentary with the director, and it's a really great commentary because he's super
Cool.
knowledgeable about the movie.
That's awesome. Yeah, I liked it. I liked. I actually hated Shape of Water at first, and once I thought about it, I was like, okay, now that the dust has settled, I actually really like it.
But it's just kind of what I thought it was going to be. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
So Simon just unsubbed. He assumed we were Canadian.
Yeah.
Well, British subs only count for half
My
a
bad.
sub, so it's not that big a deal.
I was looking at my stats the other day because only occasionally I really look at like obscure type stuff or whatever. But like I think it's like 10% of my audience is from the Philippines.
Oh, really?
I'm like, well, I was like, how did this happen?
You're some
like those are the two countries it listed. It said the USA 90-something% or whatever, close to 90, and then it's the Philippines like around 10. I was like, just two countries, but
I never look at it.
The Philippines.
Never look at it.
I never had either. It was like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
Maybe the Philippines has a bunch of YouTube bots or something.
Mhm.
Oh, that's where you bought all your subs.
Yeah.
That could be. That could be. Yeah, that could be. Because I mean, geez.
Yeah, I do notice it is weird. Like when a channel has 200,000 subscribers, and the most views they ever got in a video is 10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like where are these 190,000
Seems a
people
little
every
odd.
time you put up a video?
I mean, you know, with
Yeah.
with a very small subscriber count, it makes me feel good. That's like, oh, I've got like under 400 subscribers, but I got 100 views. That's like a better ratio than these big channels.
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad ratio at all either.
And James says, I've been stuck on Hard Truths. Mike Lee is the absolute best. That's his most recent one. Yeah, I saw the trailer for Hard Truths. I do want to check that out.
I don't know him or that movie at all.
But
Yeah,
he's
me
a
either.
pretty famous British director, but his movies are very British.
Okay.
I guess
Okay.
Naked would be it's a really good one that he directed. And then Secrets and Lies, I think was nominated for Best Picture
Oh,
in the
I haven't
early-
seen it, but I remember that. Yeah.
early 90s.
Okay.
But he's like very character based.
That's cool.
All right, so I did that. Okay. So I got a couple of 4Ks I can quickly talk about. I got the Bring Me Head of Alfredo Garcia 4K. I
Oh,
pre-ordered
so good.
this, and this is my favorite Peck and Paw movie and one of my favorite movies of all time. So I had it on Blu-ray, but I went ahead and got this. And I just quickly glanced at I haven't rewatched it, but I just quickly glanced at the picture quality, and it looks really good. So some of the Shout Factory stuff is hit or miss, because I got their Cockfighter Blu-ray with Warren Oates, and that didn't look that good. But I only had it on DVD, so.
Yeah.
And then there's a new company that I think is really cool, a boutique Blu-ray company called Celluloid Dreams, and they're only been releasing giallos. And their first release, apparently they had like a super edition, but I just got the regular edition of Case of the Bloody Iris with Edward Finch, which I would recommend if you're not familiar with giallos and you want to watch a good one that's sort of I guess normal or typical of the genre. I would say that'd be one to check out. And then their second release which I just got. I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen the movie. Is A Short Night of Glass Dolls, and this is like the Uber edition. It's a 4-disc edition. So I have this movie on DVD, and I don't know what the hell is all on here, but it's really cool because it's sort of like, if you imagine, Johnny Got His Gun, that the Metallica video was based on. The imagine that. So a guy, well, basically he's pronounced dead, but he's actually alive. So it's whatever that condition is, like your brain works, but you can't move your body. So he's basically trying to solve the crime of who murdered him, even though he's not actually dead yet. So he's like running through the memories in his head to figure out clues, to figure out who killed him, even though he's been pronounced dead, but he's not actually dead yet. So it's a really cool premise. And then their third release is going to be Black Belly of the Tarantula. Some of this is nudity or close to nudity, which is, I think, supposed to come out in a couple of months, but which is a movie I really like. It's just like a naked models are being stalked by a killer, but he's using spider venom to kill them. So it's just a typical thing, but it's like this. It's stylistically really cool, and it has one of my favorite Ennio Morricone scores. So I would pick that as the underrated Ennio Morricone score is Black Belly of the Tarantula. It's like super sexy early 70s Italian, like a literally females heavy breathing on the score because as part of the music.
That's awesome, actually.
Is this a US label?
Well, these are, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I just wondered if they were like imports or
they're not region locked.
Okay.
I don't think. I think it is a US, but I'm not sure. But it wasn't I don't think any of them were region locked.
Okay.
But yeah, new company, so pretty cool releases. I'm curious to see, because I'm a big Giallo fan, and there's a lot of obscure ones that could be re-released. So
yeah.
So I'll go ahead and ask you guys if there's anything else you've been watching lately.
I saw Friendship last night.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, Scott. I saw Friendship last night. I don't know. I've already told Scott about it, but Tom, are you a fan of at all of Tim Robinson?
I still haven't watched all of his series. I don't know where I left off.
I actually haven't finished that yet either. The Netflix series, it's pretty good though.
Yeah, there's some genius bits. I mean, my favorite is the that's if you have a hairpiece, it's a service. So if you have a hairpiece and you want to get rid of the hairpiece and return to the bald lifestyle, but you don't want to let everyone know that you're wearing a hairpiece, you hire this service and they send a gorilla to your work to rip off your hair.
Oh yeah, I remember that in front of everybody.
Do you want to return to being bald? So that's genius. And in terms of, have you seen this series at all, Scott?
Yeah, I've seen them all.
Okay. It does that jumping Jeff Farmer promo, that famous, like the worst wrestling promo.
Yeah.
He does a parody of that, which was unsurprising. And it's a really smart wrestling parody, a parody of wrestling promos in general.
The one that
which is
my son and I, but we just always reference it. Whenever we're going through to a drive-through, have you seen the pay it forward drive-through sketch?
Oh yeah.
it's amazing.
Big five burgers, big five fries. You have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite's probably the one with the plumbing with the plumbers that come in to replace his toilet. It's like a lawsuit.
Oh yeah,
one.
yeah.
That one's amazing.
They shrink the hole.
You're not part of the turbo crew.
Well, especially, I'm a huge fan of Mr. Show and Kids in the Hall. So I especially like when his series, it gets into that sort of Mr. Show thing of sort of meta building on itself. So in that case, where you just really don't know where the sketch is going to go.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it does have that. Does kind of have that vibe. Yeah, it was fan. Friendship was so good. It was like people. I've seen some critics say, or at least one call it like, "I love you, man," for sickos. You know, basically, which is pretty much true. Because I mean, it almost has a very very similar premise to that. Only it's just much darker and I loved it. Can't wait to see it again.
Theater anymore, but I'm making an effort to go Monday because I showed my wife the trailer and she's like, "No,
I'm not doing that."
Yeah, I definitely want to see that because I just saw the poster. Then I'm like, I need to check this out.
And it was a really cool theater experience too. It was like you could tell. First of all, it was like a slightly more people in the theater than I'd seen lately for because our theaters kind of are dying, but you could tell it was all like a kind of just a fan, like a Tim Robinson fan base. You could just kind of hear it by just chit chat, and it was a really cool experience.
Do I want to be hanging out with a Tim Robinson fanboy? I don't know that I know the answer to that. It could be yes. It could be a definitive no.
His not from his series, but from Detroiters. The bit that always gets me, maybe because I live near Detroit, the hipsters are in town and ask he and his partner like, "Oh, we want to go to this restaurant. It's over," and they say some areas like, "Is that a good area?" He's like,
"Yeah,
yes, it's fine. This is Detroit, not a third world country." "Oh, fine, we'll walk." "No, you'll die."
They will kill you. Fucking brilliant, underrated show. I think. I love to see it come back someday.
For Detroit, like,
it's got to.
"Oh yeah, Detroit's fine. Well, I'm gonna go here." "Whoa, don't go there."
Yeah, no, don't go that far. There's probably like a map of Detroit where it's like just talking about the places where you shouldn't go, like a safety map of Detroit.
Look where the casinos are, and draw like a 2-mile radius around that, and that's fine. Once you get outside that, maybe not.
Yeah. I've heard if you stay downtown too, you're totally good. Like I've heard downtown Detroit, pretty awesome.
Yeah, where the casinos
actually
are, yeah.
But yeah. Oh, is that where they are? Okay. So and the good parts, yeah, okay.
If you go to the fancy coffee shop where the white people go to write their novels, then you'll be safe.
Yeah, you'll probably be all right.
Go to the avocado toast, and you will survive.
Yeah. Your feelings might get hurt at some point, but that's the worst
It's like that, face. And then when you go outside the city to like, there's a tiny little area called Hamtramck. It used to be all Polish people. It's now all Muslim people, but that's totally fine. Like, and it's like a few miles from the city, but you go a few miles the wrong way and you're in the city and it's bad again. So it's a really strange area.
Yeah, I bet.
I don't really buy too much anymore, but I did pick this up finally because it went on sale. Frankie Frico, from Steve Kostansky of Astron 6. I'm a big Astron 6 fan.
Oh shit! Yeah. When did this one come out?
I think late last year.
Missed it. I didn't even hear about it.
So the premise is this not stuck up, kind of boring office guy. He's his life's in a rut, and he sees this 900 number on late night TV for this this puppet called Frankie Frico who will help you party. And then he, in desperation, one night calls it, and then all these puppets show up at his house and start trashing it and partying with him. And then eventually they end up going to the puppet world where there's the evil puppet villain voiced by Rich Evans. It's fun. I don't think it stands up to their other movies. I think there's kind of too much setup and not enough payoff in this one. But I'm a completist when it comes to these guys, so I had to get it. Father's Day, I think, is one of the most, the greatest movies of all time. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
No, I haven't. That's the one I haven't seen. And then now two, so I need to get.
So but
okay, yeah, because I have the editor I have on Blu-ray, which is that sort of weird and fun version of or parody of a giallo. And then I did like Father's Day. There's a he's sort of on a hiatus, but there's a long running podcast which I've been a huge fan of since like 2000. Well, I've been a fan of it since 2009, and I think he started in 2008. There's a comedian named Mike Schmidt, not that Mike Schmidt, and he has a podcast called The 40-Year-Old Boy. And then like the Astron 6 guys, I think were fans of, or somebody in there was fans of his, and then asked him to do, there's the strip club scene. So he does he's the voice of the MC in the strip club scene.
Oh.
So he has had an episode where he talked about working with the Astron 6 guys and them contacting him and all that. So I initially, that might have been my introduction to them, was through that episode, this movie was coming out. So I got to check it out since Mike has a little part in it. So.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I still need to see Sinners in terms of going to the theater.
Yeah. Me too.
It's good. It's really good.
So I need to get back in I have, I have an app for Cinemark, and I'm up to I have 5 movie credits on there, so I gotta burn through these.
Yeah, go see Friendship. You got Sinners. At least those two.
So I'll
right
definitely
now.
see those two, and then Memorial Day weekend, so I actually have time.
Yeah.
So, and then James was talking about he saw the Dunwich Horror, which I have not seen in a long time, and I don't remember that well, the H.P. Lovecraft. But I do remember
good.
that being one of the better H.P. Lovecraft adaptations.
Yeah, James, The Void. That was my introduction to Astron, was The Void, for sure. That one just kind of came out of, for me at least, came out of nowhere, and it was just so impressive in certain areas.
I felt like that one kind of petered out.
It did.
By the end.
It did.
It was good, and I was happy that they had a random one night showing here, so I actually got to see it in the theaters. That was fun.
Oh, cool! Hell yeah.
We don't get those anymore now that Alamo Drafthouse left town.
Aw, damn it. What do you got left? You got Regal or AMC? Both?
We've got Goodrich, which I think is a local chain.
Probably.
And then AMC, and then all the shit everybody has.
Yeah. Oh, then you guys have over there. What's that other one you have too? The one that the big Midwest chain.
Celebration?
There's a different one I'm thinking about. Maybe it's not as big as I think it is either.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a Cinemark theater that closed that was 20 minutes away. I had basically had 2 that were 20 minutes away, but one of them closed, and it was the worst location for a movie theater I've ever seen. It's basically an outdoor shopping mall, and then behind the outdoor shopping mall in the corner, after you drive through a parking lot, was the theater. So you can't even if you're driving through the mall, you can't see the theater.
Weird.
So I'm really, it's like
Secret.
secret theater. So I'm really not surprised that closed down. But I kind of, I think from Baltimore to DC, I kind of have seems like a wealth of theaters compared to a lot of places. There's even, what do you call it, repertory. There's the AFI Silver, so they'll even show stuff in 35 millimeter and 70 millimeter. So they'll show, Hitchcock Revival or something. So there's plenty of choices, but I have this, since I have this app, there's a 24 screen Cinemark theater that actually shows a lot of cool shit from here, from time to time. So they'll show like independent stuff or even revival. Like I saw the original Black Christmas there. I've already seen it a bunch of times, but
it'd be cool to see on the big screen.
But it's a multiplex at a giant mall. So considering that, they do have a lot of cool stuff in there. I saw it. Oh, they'll have wrestling pay-per-view sometimes. So
Cool.
Okay. Was that where you saw Forbidden Door?
No, yeah, I did see it was. Which one was it? Midnight. Oh. Yeah, I'm hearing that echo again. Yo, yeah, it was at that theater I saw Bryan Danielson and Okada, whatever that pay-per-view was. Okay.
Yeah, Forbidden Door. So the only difference as far as the echo is, I still have my headphones plugged in, but I didn't have them in my ears. I don't know why that would make a difference.
How am I sounding now?
I heard some static, but then it went away.
Fine.
Okay.
All
Bad though.
That's all right.
Does it need us?
So I don't hear the feedback anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know how we're talking about movie theaters, but all right. So I wanted to try something a little different. I was watching a video about the upcoming Vinegar Syndrome releases because they just announced a bunch of stuff. So I wanted to share the screen just to quickly look at some of the stuff they're putting out. I guess this week they're still announcing more stuff. So I'm going to try this share screen thing, see if that works.
Is this part of their sale? Or
yeah, but it's like multi-days. So I think the way they do it now is they have a sale, but they announce new releases like staggered. So they announce some on one day, then on another day, and so on. Oh.
I did what I always do with these sales. I loaded my card up and then looked at my card. And like, nope.
Ooh, look at that.
But that's not the right page. The bottle.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Okay, okay. And okay, so you can see the Vinegar Syndrome page. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So they're releasing a 4K of The Golden Child, and the list price is $70.
Woo.
So this is like Uber Special Edition.
Okay.
I saw this movie as a kid. I did like it any Eddie Murphy stuff as a kid I loved.
Yeah.
Rewatching it as an adult, I didn't think it was that great. It's basically Eddie Murphy doing an Indiana Jones type of thing, Temple of Doom type of thing.
Yeah.
They do have that scene with the rat song.
I haven't seen that movie in like 20.
But I don't remember.
Yeah, I probably haven't seen it since.
Yeah, I don't remember which rat song it was.
Round and round, probably. Who knows?
Jade, is that the
Yeah.
Linda Fiorentino Jade?
So Eli, now
Okay.
I can barely hear you now. So then the Dirty Work, which is a movie I really, really like. The Norm Macdonald, what's his face? Chevy Chase plays the doctor. But and this was interesting to me because it was body talk. The Dirty Work has the long lost R-rated cut of the movie.
Oh,
So
really?
apparently the movie was cut down to get a PG-13.
That'd be interesting to see.
Artie Lang, and Norm
Artie.
Macdonald.
Right.
And so I'm really interested just because of that extra cut. Like, this is not a movie I need to watch in 4K. I think I just have it on DVD.
That's fine.
And then Jade is a movie I only just saw. I saw it on VHS a long time ago. I don't remember thinking it was amazing relative to other William Friedkin movies.
No, other than it was like more of that B wave of erotic thrillers.
Yeah,
as
like
I
an
remember.
like him doing an erotic thriller and doing it better, but than a lot of them. But and then The Dark Half, I don't remember that well because I think I just saw it on TV.
I don't love it. That's okay.
I don't love it. That's okay. I don't think I've ever watched it, which is strange being a Romero fan, but I've heard so much bad stuff about it.
And that's obviously it's the Romero version of the Stephen King story. Now I'm hearing the feedback. Again.
It's weird. The feedback that I hear it's your voice, but it almost sounds like me. It's kind of fucking creeping me out.
Let's see if there's let's look at the audio settings. Where the fuck? All right, I'll try to. Okay.
Yeah, I need to buy a pair of headphones or something. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, because I have because I would, going forward, I would recommend, I have the echo cancellation thing on, but I would recommend using headphones.
Yeah.
Because I guess the idea is that the speakers pick up our voices, but then the system deletes that echo, but then it doesn't catch everything.
Yeah.
So the way around that is if everyone uses headphones, the microphones aren't going to pick up any of the other voices. All right.
I'm looking at my audio settings. What do you have it set on? Mine's on default microphone webcam. No, oh, that just muted me. Oh no, maybe it didn't. I don't know. I just changed something. Maybe it'll make a difference.
All right. And then I'm a huge fan of Let's Scare Jessica to Death. So this is a early 70s, basically a woman, she's losing her mind, so she's basically goes at this lake house and she's seeing things and they may or may not be real. Did you see that movie Men by Alex Garland?
I liked it a lot.
To me, this is sort of like that, but I think it's a lot better than Men, but it's sort of comparable to that.
Cool. I've actually never seen it. It's one of those movies that's referenced so much.
Yeah, I just have it on DVD. And then Iron Angels, I have the first one on VHS, but it's called Midnight Angels. And I don't think I've seen the sequels. but this is basically the 90s Hong Kong action version of Charlie's Angels. But it's not really campy. It's more straightforward. And this is Moon Lee and what's her face? Well, anyways, this one I definitely want. I'm generally a fan of like the 90s girls with guns, like girl action Hong Kong movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like I must have seen at least one of those at some point, but I can't remember them.
it has another title. I can't remember. But in the US, I don't think it was called Iron Angels. There were two different titles for it. Midnight Angels, and there was another title. And then Charlie One Eye is like a British version of a spaghetti western that I'm interested in. I've never seen it. Richard Roundtree's in it.
Oh yeah.
4K of Breathless. I remember seeing this. This is the Richard Gere version of Breathless. I don't remember liking it that much. But he's like a Silver Surfer fan. And it's a remake of the famous Godard movie. And then Swimming to Cambodia, I really like. This is oh god, what's his name? Spalding Gray.
Oh,
The fun fact. So this is just basically a Spalding Gray monologue about he worked on the movie The Killing Fields as an actor. So it's just that entire experience. But I don't really need Blu-ray of just someone sitting on stage.
someone sitting at a desk talking. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's something I would definitely rewatch. He also did I like it even better as a movie called Monster in a Box, which is the same thing, which is basically just him talking about his his unfinished novel.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really good. And then Criminally Insane 2, aka Crazy Fat Ethel 2, is the
That's what I thought that was.
Yeah, so it was released on VHS as Crazy Fat Ethel 2. And this is the really terrible shot on video sequel to Criminally Insane, which is kind of fun. The original one, which is basically a crazy fat woman kills people who gets in the way of her getting food. But this is it's shot on video and it's list price $33 and it's only an hour long.
Right. How much could they clean that up?
Well, they can't.
Right.
To answer your question.
0%.
Yes. But to me, this should be more like they should just have it on the Criminally Insane Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Like as an extra.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I mean, Vinegar Syndrome are really genius marketers.
They are.
Because I don't know why. I don't know why anyone would want to own this movie, to be honest. But
curiosity, maybe.
People who buy everything Vinegar Syndrome puts out, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, it's not even them, right? Or is that a sub label?
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, whatever. I just consider it one big thing, but it's DeGosser Video.
Okay. I'm probably gonna buy the From Beyond because I don't have it yet. I mean, I have a DVD, but
yeah, I have it on Blu-ray. And her Eli. Okay, now it seems okay.
It's funny because you two have sounded good, perfect to me all night. So it's so crazy how nobody seems to hear
it's
the
not
same
doing
thing.
it for me either.
But yes, Simon is hearing my echo.
Okay.
And I do occasionally. It's not that bad though. I mean, I don't think, but understandably, we want it to go away.
Yeah, at times it's loud in my headphones where I'm just hearing myself talk over myself, which is a little
Right.
weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Interrupting
can't be.
myself. I have From Beyond on Blu-ray, so I definitely would be interested in a 4K of it, but I already have it on Blu-ray. But it is visually a very, very cool
Yeah.
movie. Yeah,
I think I might just have a DVD. I'm trying to look for my copy. I can't remember.
And then the other thing I wanted to mention was Shout Factory is releasing this Mario Bava Blu-ray box set, which I am very interested in because I just have most of these on DVD.
Me too.
Trying to look. Yeah. So I kind of want this, but are you guys Mario Bava fans?
Mild for me.
I mean, I guess yes, but I'm not. I'm definitely not knowledgeable.
Okay. Famously, Bay of Blood, Friday the 13th Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
They ripped off 2 of the kills from Bay of Blood, which Sean Cunningham, I guess, worked for the production company that released Bay of Blood in the U.S. So he can't say he didn't see the movie.
I'm sure he'll say he never saw it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he says that, but his production company released the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't see it and he just okayed it.
Could be.
All right, so let's see here. Let me stop sharing. And what else did I? Okay. So one more thing before we get to Death Laid an Egg. I did this on the first episode with Eli where I showed off some obscure VHS tapes because I'm organizing my VHS collection and cataloging everything. So maybe I thought I would rip through 10 VHS tapes that I have really quick that I think are interesting to talk about in one way or another. I guess I'll full screen myself. Let's see if this works. Okay. Angel Fist.
Oh yeah.
You seen
Melissa
this?
Moore.
Yeah, Melissa Moore. Kat Sassoon was an actual karate champion, and she stars in this. So this is like a female equivalent of a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie produced by Roger Corman. And this movie is pretty awesome. Like back in the early days of YouTube, I uploaded a montage of like every time a woman gets kicked in the head in this movie because I love the Foley, the sound effects. And this movie's really fun. It did come out on DVD in the late 90s, but it goes for like $200 on eBay.
Damn.
And then I love the tagline is, if looks could kill, they wouldn't need to kick.
What?
I mean, that's just...
If looks could kill, they wouldn't need to kick.
Oh, because they're so hot, they wouldn't have to kick you. I get it. Okay.
But since they can't kill, they must kick.
They have to kick you.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I'm a big Melissa Moore fan. Yeah. So nice one.
Okay. Big Bullet. This is, I think, 1996. This is a Chinese Hong Kong VHS release. This is a bank heist movie, and it's sort of like there's a division of the Hong Kong police it's like the shitty division. Like if you fuck up, you get demoted to whatever the jabroni. I don't know that this is a real thing, but like whatever the jabroni division, and then so this jabroni, I'll just call it, just call it the jabroni division.
We're gonna have
They
one of those in the U.S. pretty soon. We're gonna have a jabroni division.
there's a huge bank heist, and then they put, for whatever reason, the jabroni division is on it. So this is the chance to redeem themselves, to catch these bank robbers, and it's a pretty good 90s Hong Kong bank heist movie. There's some cool violence.
I hope so.
There's the the shootout with the cops, and someone's arm gets shot off. So that's pretty cool.
All right.
Hell yeah.
But I don't think this is. There might have one of these Hong Kong ones. There was a Amazon burn on demand crappy DVD that they released, but I don't think otherwise it's been issued in North America in a good version. And this is a widescreen VHS.
Wow. Fancy.
Tai Seng. Okay. Quickly, this is my bootleg version of Madhouse Mansion from 1974. This is AKA Ghost Story. This is sort of a ghost story. I don't think this movie's really that good. It's sort of like these dandy fops go into this old house, but the way they do the ghost stuff is it's just like a play. It's only enacted in front of them, if that makes sense. So it's like something that happened in the house, like maybe 100 years ago. There was an interaction in the house, and it just plays out in front of them. And then Marianne Faithfull is in this. And to me, the most interesting part of this movie is, do you know I'm a huge fan of the British comedy with Noel and I. Have you guys ever seen this?
Mm-mm.
With Richard E.
No.
Grant. The guy Richard E. Grant plays a real struggling actor in With Noel and I, and the real actor that Richard E. Grant plays in that movie, he's actually in this movie. So this was as like just some, I think he was a butler or something. I don't know, but to me it was interesting for that. But that's never been released past VHS in North America. I think there might have been a DVD in Europe.
Wow.
Here's another only VHS. This is Train to Kill, 1989. This is actually there were 2 US releases on VHS. This is the Canadian release. And I don't know why I have the Canadian release, but I do. And this is oddly star-studded. It's Chuck Connors, Henry Silva, Robert Zadar.
Wow.
This is basically like a cross between a Karate Kid type plot and a missing in action Vietnam plot. So it's like and oddly this is kind of a little reminiscent of Gleaming the Cube. But not the skateboarding aspect of it. Cuz it's like Chuck Connors was like a military judge, and then he has a adopted Vietnamese son and his white son. And then they're sort of these are the 2 brothers, and one's Caucasian, one's Vietnamese. And then so Chuck Connors, there was a group of soldiers that ran heroin, and then Chuck Connors helped put them in prison. So they get out of prison to hunt down and kill Chuck Connors. And then these 2 get together and do like Karate Kid training and have a montage
I would hope so.
to go after the gang. And yes. And the gang is headed by Henry Silva, one of the great bad guys of all time. and Robert Zadar, and there's another dude that's totally doing a wrestling character. Like he's like, it's hard to explain, but he's like just everything he's doing. He's like, but like a late 80s, like he thinks he's the Ultimate Warrior or something. And then the other, the let me full frame this. The guy has the hot girlfriend. See her there?
Oh, let's go.
So
Now
you
we're
think
talking.
so you think, and there was a love scene after the montage, they get sweaty and then there's the love scene after they get all sweaty, they get sweaty again. But I love that
just sent her into a frenzy.
I love that so you think like maybe she's going to be kidnapped or something, or they're going to go that direction, but instead it's like she shows up twice and does like a wrestling run in. Like she comes in and fucks people up and then ditches out. And those two bits are amazing, especially the second one at the end. I don't want to spoil it. But like she comes in and does some damage and then goes off just to be hot again. So this is just a movie sadly just lost on VHS. That's actually a lot of fun. It's kind of, the plot itself is kind of stupid because they are forcing the missing in action type movie with the Karate Kid and forcing them together. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, I think.
Man, speaking of Karate Kid, have you guys seen the trailer for the new movie? It looks so bad.
No.
Oh my god.
Who's in it?
Well, it's got Jackie Chan, Ralph Macchio's in it, and then I don't know if any other stars, but yeah. It just looks so like they couldn't have tried to write a more predictable generic story. At least from what I can see by the trailer, to be fair. to be fair, but still, I mean, if you can't make a trailer interesting,
yeah,
it's argued.
You can't find 90 good seconds to show people.
Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of want to get into Cobra Kai, so I got my Karate Kid DVDs out. So I was going to rewatch them and watch Cobra Kai because I haven't seen any of it.
I haven't either. I've heard it's good. Heard it's real good.
Okay, so we're going to talk about cancer now. So this is a bit of a switch.
What?
Silence Like Glass. So this is another only came out on VHS movie. This is Jamie Gertz plays a ballerina that has cancer. And I think this was actually a German movie or maybe a German-US co-production. And then Rip Torn plays the doctor. So basically it's just her at this cancer facility getting treatment, trying to get better. And I think the cool part of this movie, do you remember who Martha Plimpton is?
Yeah.
She's the geeky girl in the Goonies and other supporting roles. She's like the terminal patient in this movie, and she's really great. I think this is, I'm going to go on record and say that this is Martha Plimpton's finest performance.
Wow. That's
I know that's going out on a limb. It might come back to bite me in the ass. Like if I run for office and I have no credibility once that word gets out. But
that's so weird. It sounds like a Lifetime movie or something. I've never heard of it.
It basically is. I mean, it's not that great. But the great thing about it, I think, is Martha Plimpton, because as a character, she does not give a flying fuck because she's dying, and just the way she acts, her acting, you really, I don't know. I think it's really, her character, I think, is really good. The rest of it is just a Lifetime movie, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another obscure Hong Kong movie, Cheap Killers. This is the director is Clarence Falk, who directed one of my favorite 90s Cat 3 action movies, Naked Killer.
Oh, classic. Yeah.
And this is an obscure, this is basically like two hitmen one of them has an affair with the girlfriend of a mob boss, and then he finds out, and they have to kill him, and then they're on the run, basically. And this is kind of a standard story. And then Clarence Falk is, out of any of the mid 90s guys, he had sort of like a flashy MTV style. Out of the 90s action Hong Kong directors. So I don't think this is that great, but I don't think you can get it at all past, just the VHS. There might be a laser disc. I don't know.
Diving back into 90s trash has made me want to revisit all those Cat 3 movies, and Sloppy Second Sales has a bunch of them. I've been thinking about making harder.
Scoop them up all at once.
Yeah.
If Scott remembers her, she must get her tits out in something.
Oh, she does. Melissa Moore, I assume, is what he's talking about.
It would be more like, has she not gotten her tits out in something?
Yeah.
Did she not? Yeah, that'd be a better question. I can't think of any right now. There might be one. Some extra work, perhaps.
Yeah. All right. This is actually a double feature bootleg, but I just want to talk about the first one, which is Island Women, 1980. Do you guys know Brigitte Leahy, the French porno actress?
No.
Not
Okay,
that I
she's
know
like
of.
maybe the most famous French. You can Google her.
Oh, I will.
But it's like spelled like Lahaie, I think. I don't know. But this would have to be one of the sleaziest woman in prison movies. So it's basically, it's this island somewhere. They kidnap prostitutes and then send them to this illegal prison, and where they have to have sex with the guards and be naked constantly. And there's a lot of zoom ins on beavers. I mean, not that kind of beaver.
Yeah.
And the most sort of misogynistic part of it is that the girls barely even seem to care.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun time. What's their problem?
Yeah, it's like, hey, you want to have sex with the warden? And like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, sure. Why not? What else I got to do?
Yeah.
So on one of the episodes, I mentioned this is the Swiss movie, and this is AKA Caged Women, which is the more common title, but the US VHS was called Island Women. And in a previous episode, I referenced this what I think is the sleaziest women in prison movie called Caged Women, but that's a different movie.
Okay.
That's the Italian Caged Women. So arguably the two sleaziest women in prison movies are both called Caged Women.
Arguably.
And then I found a really awesome trailer compilation that I had made. I think the video store I worked at had this trailer compilation, and I just made a copy of it. But it has like the Gates of Hell US trailer, Bloodsucking Freaks, which is a great trailer, and a bunch of other ones. So I rewatched it, just had it in the background, and it was pretty awesome. And
I still remember as a kid, and I can't even. I definitely remember it, but I can't even believe it was real. Radio ads for the Gates of Hell playing in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and no one under 17 will be admitted due to violence and whatever. But yeah, the Gates of Hell playing here. I don't know, just blows my mind. I can't imagine it.
Well, it was probably the cut version, at least.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. I remember hearing that I never saw a TV ad, but I remember hearing that radio ad. And it's like, oh, this sounds amazing. But I was like 8 years old, so it wasn't happening.
No.
And then one more bootleg is The Bus Is Coming, 1971. This is an extremely obscure Black Power movie from the early 70s. It's basically a soldier returns from Vietnam back to Compton, and his brother was killed by racist cops. So he gets revenge against the racist cops, and there's like scenes. Basically, a bunch of the kids are homeschooled, but it's like Black Power homeschooling, where they recite like Black Panther rhetoric. So this is like, to me, one of the ultimate 70s Black Power movies, because I think it was sold as as a blaxploitation movie, which it sort of is, but there's sort of more to it than that. Really, the only information I've found out on it was that Quentin Tarantino mentioned it in an interview where he saw the movie at a drive-in as a kid. And this barely got the original VHS is like impossible to find, and there are only 2 IMDb user reviews for this movie. So this is super obscure hidden gem to me. And the other point is that if you remember, I assume you've seen Ghost World.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the old guy that sits and waits for the bus, and the bus never comes? So they do the same thing in this movie.
Huh.
But I assume it's. What was that?
Was that an intentional reference?
I doubt it, because I don't think barely anybody has seen this movie. The closest comparison I would say is there's a movie called The Spook Who Sat by the Door, which is like the Black Panther guy gets hired by the CIA, I think, and then like infiltrates to take down the U.S. from the inside, or it's the FBI. I can't remember what it is, but all right. Finally, one more. Do you know A Day of Judgment? This movie?
No.
I don't think so.
Severn Films released this on Blu-ray, and this is like, but they sold it as a slasher movie, which it really isn't. It's basically like Little House on the Prairie. It's basically a Jesus movie, a low-budget Jesus movie.
Low budget Jesus, not slasher.
Jesus movie meaning made by Jesus-y people. It's not about Jesus, but
okay.
If you think of like Jesus metal,
I think the blame has come out.
And so it's like Little House on the Prairie, but everyone in the town is sinning, and then in the last 10 minutes, the Grim Reaper shows up and starts killing people.
That actually sounds kind of cool.
But there's only 2 cool death things that you really see.
I hate it.
But the funny thing is, this is on Thorn EMI video, and they always spoil everything on the back.
Oh yeah, I hate that too. It's like the whole plot.
So this is literally the last 10 minutes of the movie. It says, the mysterious figure swings his powerful scythe, and the sinners are awarded their just punishment. George Clay is taken to the insane asylum. Sharp is backed into the ice house, and the door is bolted. The storekeeper's house is blasted by lightning, but the dark figure does not rest his scythe just yet.
Hi, buddy.
So it's just it's like literally telling. Yeah, it's literally telling you like the death scenes in the last 10 minutes.
That's a terrible synopsis if that's what that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's not even a synopsis. That's on the back of the case too.
Yeah, because they would do that. Another one is
Yeah, they would.
The slasher movie Girls Night Out. It literally has the entire plot, like every kill it lists,
What?
and like the twist ending, like it's ridiculous, and it's like 5 paragraphs of text.
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago, I grabbed my Alien, Alien VHS copy, and I just randomly looked at the back and read the synopsis. And it was literally the whole movie with any kind of plot twist too, right on the back. I'm like, man, I don't remember that being a thing back then, but I think it was a totally a thing.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's move on to Death Laid an Egg. 1968. First of all, I want to talk about the Blu-ray. It has this is the actual Italian poster, but this cover is horrible, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, bad.
It's bad.
And this is the slip cover. So, but let's take it off and we'll reveal maybe there's some awesome artwork underneath. So let's
exactly the same. I'm guessing exactly the same.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
But the cover is reversible. So there's still hope. Let's reverse the cover.
There we go.
Ready? 3 covers.
Damn. Yeah. The original.
What was the one you put in the thumbnail?
I think that's the British poster.
Okay. Yeah, I would advise using that.
So what the fuck is the point of this? The slip cover.
I don't know. I mean, it's a more common thing with CDs, a slipcover of the exact same art, but
yeah.
I don't understand it at all.
So what are your guys' opinions on slipcovers, especially that they are just the same as the artwork?
I think they're cool, I guess. I would rather it be a slipcover of something other than the actual cover underneath. Vinegar Syndrome, I feel like, is just, I don't know if they started it or just hopped on it, this trend of selling something for a variant slipcover, and I don't get it at all. Why you would pay $20, $25 extra to get the variant slipcover.
I don't have a single variant slipcover for Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah.
Well, I think this one in particular is annoying.
Yeah.
And there's a YouTuber that occasionally or weekly now, he's on Dead Pit Radio, and his name is Rambo Raff for Life. And one of his shticks that he has is that he'll rip up slipcovers. So I think in this case, this slipcover needs to die.
Do it.
And I have, but I'm going to use a weapon. I have my knife.
Damn.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
So we'll see. I'll try not to kill myself.
Oh, dead. $35 down the drain.
Stupid.
Yeah, I have a feeling Tom did not pay extra for that cover.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the slipcover phenomenon is weird. I guess I could take or leave the slipcovers. I do prefer them to be like an alternate cover art, but that's all I care about, I guess, as far as I could care about slipcovers.
Yeah, I used to just throw them away when they were the same artwork as the cover, but then after a while I kept them.
Yeah,
I
I've heard of some people just thrown every single slipcover away. Oh, I've been doing that for decades. Like I've heard people say that, and then other, like collectors are like, "Oh my god."
Simon has a good point there. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, some of them are so, especially on CDs, they're so tight you can't even get them off. I've had to cut them off before.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they like shrink. They like shrink onto the case.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
maybe that's it. Like they put it on and then they shrink wrap it and it's just there for a couple months and then you can't. I've tried. I'm such a nerd weirdo. It's the last thing I want to do is cut it, but I freaking couldn't get the CD out, so I had to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, when you go to push it through with your finger, it just nothing happens. It's like,
Yep.
God damn it. Yeah. CD ones are the worst, actually.
Yeah, that's true. That's the one where I had the biggest issues.
Yep.
And I think part of it is I have these sausage fingers. So sometimes I struggle with that stuff, and then I crush it with my raw power.
Yes.
And then, because I've done that where, not intentionally, I'll just put it back and then like kind of crush the corner and scrunch it. Then I'm like, well, I'll just throw it away. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because once you scrunch it, it gets harder to put back in.
Right.
Okay, so we'll quickly get through this movie, I think. So I wanted to do this movie because this movie is so complicated. I thought if I really hunker down and listen to commentaries and rewatch it a couple times, I would make sense of it, and I think I have.
Okay. I have a very basic question, and this is not meant to be insulting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like this movie?
I do. After
Okay.
I had seen it a few times.
Explain yourself.
I will. I'll get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I had originally, I just heard this. I heard about it as like the weirdest giallo, and then I had a bootleg of it probably 20 years ago. And then I think in 2017 or 2018, they released the Cult Epics released the first Blu-ray of this, and that was the first time on home video in the US it had been released.
Wow.
And but the quality wasn't very good, and they re-released it a few years ago. So if you're buying the Blu-ray, this is the one you would want in the US. This is the one you would want to get over the other one. And apparently there are 6 different cuts of this movie, and they said on one of the commentaries that it actually got re-released in the US with porno inserts.
I wish I'd seen that one.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
And Nicholas Winding Refn tried his damnedest to track that version down and couldn't find it. Like, for some reason, he really wanted the porno version of Death Laid an Egg and made it be known, which I thought was interesting. And I've concluded after watching different versions that the best version is the 91-minute version, which is the alternate version on this Blu-ray.
Okay. I think that's the one I eventually saw.
Okay.
I saw the Tubi version, so I guess
that's a different cut.
Okay.
I think that's the same cut as the bootleg I used to have.
Oh, yeah.
The extended director's cut, the biggest thing is that there's this subplot with he has this friend who lost his memory because he had electroshock therapy, his friend Luigi. And two of the things I'm not really sure about, like plot-wise with this movie, is what that has to do with anything. I'm assuming it has something to do with thematically where Jean-Louis Trintignant is the actor, he's the lead, Marco. He like wants to forget his past, so this is like his friend conversing with this friend about having lost his memory. It's like pushing him in that direction to like, I want to forget my past and start a new life. That would be my guess. And then in the extended cut, there's a lot more with the experimental chickens and developing chicken experiments and all that stuff. But I think the movie still works if you just drop all of that. Like they explain like the science behind of all the chicken experiments that they're doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then there is real chicken death in the longest version. I don't remember if that's in the middle version, but anyways, this movie is well, I'll talk about the director, Giullio Questi. He basically directed 3 weird movies and then was banished to Italian television. And this is his second movie. And so James said there were a few times I thought they were going to correlate the storyline with Luigi. Yeah, so I thought, yeah, I did. I assume it only is like a thematic thing. Is that because it didn't really tie in as far as I could tell plot wise. So he seems like a guy who drops acid and reads Marx. That type of character. Because his first movie, which is a little more normal, is called Django Kill If You Live Shoot. And this is a Django movie that has nothing to do with Django.
Sounds very Italian.
The fine Italian ripoff tradition.
Yeah, where they just name, like they'll just call it Terminator something something and pretend it's a Terminator sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's in that movie there's a scene where a guy is shot multiple times and he's brought into a saloon, and then so a guy is trying to save his life by digging a bullet out, and he notices that he has a gold bullet. So, and he says, oh my god, this guy was shot with gold bullets. So everyone in the bar comes up to the guy to rip out the bullets. They stop worrying about saving his life and like, let's get these gold bullets out. So he's somebody that was working in these genres. He had sort of like anti-capitalist ideas, and that one in particular I thought was really cool from Django Kill.
Sounds cool.
And there's a lot like I don't want to spoil the ending of Django Kill, but there's some really weird shit in there. Midnight's had enough.
Yeah, he's like, this is boring. What's my part in this?
Okay. I have to go to the bathroom too when Eli comes back. And maybe I'll get some food for midnight. All right.
I just left. I didn't say anything. So
yeah. So what was I? Yeah, and then he directed a horror movie after this called Arcana, which has barely been released at all. And then he was shipped off to movie jail for life. So I when I initially saw this movie, I just like the audacity and the weirdness of it. And then rewatching it, I eventually sort of got what he was going for and also was able to follow the plot. So okay. I think a big problem, the movie is so psychedelic and weird and has all these weird ideas, and the plot is really complicated. It's hard to follow the plot with all the other shit going on.
Just okay, so I vehemently did not like this movie. But just to temper it, I'm going to tell you my experience. I found the longer version on Plex, and I was like, well, if I'm going to watch it, I might as well watch that version. And then I was watching that for about 20 minutes, and it was dubbed in English, but I didn't know, with how Italian movies are. I didn't know if it was supposed to be in English or not. And then at that point, it switched to Italian and there were no subtitles. And then it switched back to English and then it switched back to Italian. So I was like, okay, so I can't watch this. So then I ended up going on my library's website and they had the 90-minute version. So I got that and then I started watching it over. So it was kind of a trial to even watch it. And so I might have been annoyed by that point anyway, but
yeah, because I think the long version wasn't fully dubbed. So if you watch the long version, you have to watch it in Italian with subtitles because
okay. So I don't know if this version on Plex, if they like smashed different versions together, but yeah, they kept switching languages and there were no subtitles. So it was very strange.
That's an annoying thing that Blu-ray and DVD companies do is when they have the extended versions of Italian movies, they think that like they'll default in English and then any part that wasn't dubbed into English, they just revert to Italian with subtitles. Okay. And then
that was probably it. And then, yeah, like they took it from some version that you could have turned subtitles on, but it was just a stream, so you couldn't, or the stream you couldn't. I don't know. It was strange.
But like, I don't know. I never want to watch a movie in that way. Like either, like to me, that's totally weird to do that, to switch back and forth between languages. Yeah, just pick one. You know.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Okay, so I will go through and attempt to. So James has chicken and egg jokes, of course. I will try to explain this plot, and then we can go home. How does that sound?
It's pretty interesting.
Eli, did you like this movie at all? I was worried.
More than I thought. Yeah. To be honest, like Scott and I talked about it, and you know, he told me how much he didn't like it, but you know, but made it very clear to not let that, you know, taint my opinion. But so I liked it more than I expected to. It's not at all what I'm used to, but not that. Well, yeah, I actually have one comparison for a Spanish film too. I guess I can bring that up right now. Am I really echoey? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So who knows at this point? But so I guess what I liked most about this film, which is something very of its time, is all the like socio-political themes, because it reminded me of some other movies, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I liked it. I don't know. I'll probably rewatch it again in maybe like a year. But like it was very kind of hard to follow.
Yeah. My recommendation at this point, for someone attempting this movie, is to watch the 91-minute version dubbed in English, and you probably have to watch it twice to be able to follow it. So if you want to watch the movie, that would be the way to watch it, as far as I'm concerned. So first of all, I'll go through stills, but I wanted to show my favorite shot of the movie. I transferred to black and white, so hopefully we get bump off the stream again.
Oh yeah.
Right here.
This was also my favorite shot.
Yeah, this is a great shot. It's like, who did this?
A real man, that's who did that.
Yeah.
That was a Italian cinema in the late 60s and 70s. Lots of shots like that. Okay, so let me get this arranged.
Oh, I'm glad you pulled this up. What the hell was this?
Yeah, this is weird.
So the first time I saw this, so there's a guy there's basically, it starts with a montage of a hotel, and there's a guy unaliving himself, and I assume this had something to do with the plot, but and watching the different versions, I don't think it does. I think the point is that it just shows various people in the different rooms. And then so you have a guy applying eye drops and another guy doing something else. And then this guy's unaliving himself. So I think I don't know. It's just like modern society, people are isolated in their hotel rooms and some of them kill themselves, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think it has to do anything with the plot.
Okay.
This beginning might have been what pissed me off the most. I mean, what got me in that mood. I was like, there's eye drops and this is happening. I don't understand who are these people? Like, I didn't understand who we were supposed to be following.
It's very fast moving at the beginning.
And I'll say this, all these freaking white guys look the same.
They kind of do. A lot of them do.
Marco, and then whoever the other guy, I don't remember the other guy's name.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. It took me like a half hour to figure out who was who and which.
Who Marco was? Yeah, me too.
Had the knife.
Well, this is Jean-Louis Trintignant, however you pronounce it, playing Marco. He's the lead of the movie. But he's a famous French actor, so he's been in a ton of movies. He was in Michael Haneke's Amour and a million other things. So I recognize him, but not the other guy, Mondani or whatever. But anyway, so I get sort of from this setup, I get a little bit of American Psycho vibes, because basically a Marco runs a chicken farm, modern chicken farm company, processing plants, and then on its lunch break, he's murdering prostitutes.
Yep.
So here's one. And then this is Mondani. And this is, do you guys remember Lily Sobieski?
Yeah.
This is her dad.
Oh, really? Okay.
Lily Sobieski from, is it Joyride?
Yeah.
And Eyes Wide Shut and Glass House and a bunch of other movies. So basically, Mondani is at the hotel and he's spying on Marco and notices him murdering a prostitute and makes a phone call. All right.
Tom, back to your first still with the glove and the knife. Was that scene supposed to what was that hinting at? Obviously the giallo genre, right?
Well, I think the giallo genre became super big.
Yeah.
Like 1970, 1971, and this movie came out January 1968.
Oh, okay. So it's a couple years preceding it, or
yeah. So there were still giallos, but like the cliche of the black glove killer, murdering women, that wasn't really a cliche yet.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but his wife owns the farm and then he works.
The chicken.
He's like whatever CEO or something, whatever title, but
yeah.
And generally speaking, like any late 60s movies that have a pop art sensibility, I really like, or at least I like the pop art aspect of it. And I love like the background chart almost has like a pop art style to it. And so he runs this chicken farm, and then with his wife, Anna, on the left there, that's what's her name? Lola Brigida, who's a famous Italian actress. And then Ava Allen, is on the right there. She plays Gabrielle, who's Anna's cousin. So basically her parents are killed in a car accident. So she stays with them. And then Eva Allen was a Swedish supermodel. I guess most famously, she starred in a movie called Candy, where Marlon Brando puts on brown face and plays an Indian guy, like an Indian yogi or something.
Oh yeah.
Well, it sounds like we can't see that movie now.
I don't think he's in the movie for that long though.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he can. I don't know.
She was, yeah. To me, she was the absolute highlight of this movie. She kept me watching.
It's fair.
And in the cut I watched, it was not ever mentioned about them being cousins. I looked on Wikipedia later and it said they were cousins. And I was like, oh, okay. That, I don't know if whatever version I saw didn't mention that.
Also, like sometimes depending on the subtitles or the audio you're listening to, like it can be very different.
They interpreted it differently or something.
Yeah, so like maybe there even could be a scene where they're mentioning being cousins, but it does not translated
Okay.
correctly or whatever. All right, so Anna thinks she was almost killed by a wrench falling from the ceiling, and she thinks so. Basically, what happens? The movie is also kind of ahead of its time in that the factory has just recently become fully automated, so they fired all of the workers.
Yeah.
And so to me, this is kind of crazy in 1968 to do this for a movie about a factory.
Yeah.
Where
Automated factory.
Where they've now gone fully automated. Like this is kind of like crazily ahead of its time to me.
That's a good point.
And then so she's almost hit by a wrench, and she thinks that the recently fired workers who are protesting outside are responsible, which would make sense. And I like that they just hang out and stare at them.
Yeah, that's their protesting. Mead mugging.
But since they're taking photographs, he finds a quick photograph that he's actually Marco was the one trying to kill his wife. So this sets up, okay, Marco's killing prostitutes and wants to kill his wife, right? And this is we got some naughty stuff.
Okay, this is, I think this is where I got pissed off the most. The first time I got really pissed off. Her like monologue about taking the girl apart, and it's like, what is this nutty bitch talking about? Like, who talks like this?
Yeah, I think this is like one of those, because this movie is like very anti-bourgeoisie, where it's like she views people and chicken in a similar way, and I think that's part of the point. Like the chickens are, ripped apart for food, and then she looks at people the same way, like as just parts, because she's rich.
I can see that. Yeah,
I think that's like the metaphor he was going for.
Okay.
And I can't believe Simon says, I can't believe Scott didn't like this. Yeah, look at
Simon, there's a shocking lack of nudity in this movie.
Yeah, it's not as gratuitous as I expected.
And the movie is also ahead of its time in that they're doing these crazy genetic modifications of the chickens.
Yeah.
I just remember this learning about this sort of thing from that Super Size Me documentary.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever year that was.
Ah, that's a good point too. Ugh.
2005 or something.
Yeah.
And there's in that, whatever the longest cut, there's way more about the genetically modified chickens, if you're interested in that. And then I mean, that's kind of hilarious.
Just a regular egg.
and there's a lot of pop art egg stuff. Like there's like a chicken conference, and there's just a giant egg in the hallway.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And this egg portrait, or the chicken portrait.
It's all over that factory. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So this was the other thing I didn't fully understand. There's like this scarf, and then that has these symbols, and I assume this had something to do with like he thinks he's being cursed, and
Because
then
he had one. He had a scarf like that before she wore it, right? Or,
Yep,
or was
yep.
it a flash forward? Or
Pretty sure. Yeah, you see it. Someone has it before she does.
yeah, I don't know.
this is her Gabrielle's parents dying in their car accident. There's like a flashback to that, which is crazily edited.
It is so fast and trippy.
So Marco is murdering prostitutes, wants to murder his wife, and is having an affair with his wife's cousin. And so,
I mean, who wouldn't? In all fairness.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But Anna's the one that actually owns everything. So they're talking about, well, if she's out of the picture, we can live happily ever after together and own the farm and the house and everything.
He's such an asshole too, this guy.
Yeah.
That might have been part of it too, as I was like, this fucking sad sack bastard, like, am I supposed to root for him? Like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want him to be with any of these women.
No, I don't. Yeah, he's detestable.
Yeah, and so later he finds this woman selling the runes, and he chases her, and then he's interrupted. So I really, that's the one, especially that part, I don't really understand what that has to do with anything.
Isn't it the woman he killed at the beginning? That's what I thought.
I thought so too, but I zoomed in and compared it, and I don't think so.
Oh, it's not her. Oh,
maybe he thinks she kind of looks like her.
Okay.
But this woman has paler skin and is a bit chubbier.
Did anyone think it was going to go into like what do you call it, like a folk horror type thing after you saw those symbols, some kind of like or cult stuff, you know?
So,
I mean,
yes.
I thought it might lead somewhere.
or anywhere.
So maybe it's just like a
specifically though.
You think he's going to be cursed from murdering these prostitutes, and like he's doomed or something? Like it's a diversion.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, so again, this is Mondani.
Mm-hmm.
He witnessed Marco murdering that prostitute, and then he gets a job as the head of advertisement at the chicken plant. So just keep that in mind. And he develops some different pop art ads, which I love, for the plant.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous. I did like that. This will make people want to eat chicken.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's supposed to make you want to eat more chicken.
Yeah. And then, what do you guys think of this outfit?
It's wild.
It's a bit Barney Rubble.
It's a bit much, but she's such a hot lady. It didn't matter to me.
Yeah. Nobody really noticed.
So this is like the game, right? The game in the room.
Yeah.
What can you explain to me what this game was?
It's just like truth or dare kind of thing.
To me, it was like, go fuck in this room. Like I didn't understand what like was supposed to happen. They cleared the room out, and then two people go in there, and then, I mean, what are they supposed to do? I didn't understand. I don't know. At this point, I was pretty grumpy, so now I'm just nitpicking. But I didn't understand this part at all.
Yeah, I think it's just the again, the bourgeoisie commentary kind of thing, where if you ask these people to be truthful, the men just start raping or sexually assaulting the other women at the party. Like if you ask a rich guy at a party, hey, what do you want to actually do? Honestly, it's like, well, I want to assault that woman.
Right. Okay.
So I think it's like commentary on, because this is I'm thinking of like Louis Buñuel, some of his movies as a similar thing where like society breaks down at a party with rich people because they can do whatever they want, type of thing.
See, this is interesting. I'm glad we had this discussion because I didn't know like kind of the socialist perspective of the director. So that, yeah, I actually, believe it or not, I might watch this again. I never thought I would.
There's a lot of classism, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this is not doing. This is one of the other soon-to-be murder prostitutes. This is not working for me. I don't know about you guys.
No, not my
I mean, no. It looks like somebody's mom. In a
yeah, oh yeah,
80 sunglasses.
yeah.
I mean, props to wearing bad 80s sunglasses in the late 60s.
In the 60s, yeah, that's true. Right, ahead of her time.
Yet again.
Okay, so Anna suspects that Marco is sleeping with prostitutes, but she doesn't pick up on that he's murdering prostitutes. So she, a plot twist that you only find in Italian movies, she decides, I'm going to pretend to be a prostitute and then catch him in the act. So then watching this in my head, you think where this might go is maybe he accidentally kills her, and that's like there's a tragic ending, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what happens. But
nope.
And I love the rant. This is just a close up of Ava. And one thing I like about this movie is like every music choice and every camera angle is like whatever you normally would do in this circumstance. Let's go totally off book. Like if we have to shoot a close up, let's do it in this weird way.
Oh, that was another thing. These super extreme close ups were so uncomfortable.
The camera work was super interesting, I would say, all throughout.
And this is for Scott.
Thank you. That wasn't in my version. I would have remembered that.
I don't remember that either.
And then we have a doggy death for Eli.
Yeah, what was this? Fuck this.
Yeah, fuck this.
It was for no reason too.
I know it didn't serve any purpose.
It's to set up that I think that you can fall in.
Oh, so we know if somebody falls into a grinder, they're gonna get ground up.
Yeah. Who'd have guessed?
ground up into chicken feed.
Yeah.
I'm back to fuck this movie.
So I love that they have the different versions of the chickens filed. Like, it's like this pop art logic or something.
Yeah, it's like that's not how files work.
And then you have just baskets of eggs on the desk. And then he's setting up that his wife is going to a Congress in Amsterdam and buys her a plane ticket, but then he burns. And this is Luigi on the left here. This is his friend that has no memory. I don't know what the point is. But he's setting up. Hey, my wife is going to Amsterdam for an international chicken congress.
Okay.
But then Marco burns the ticket. And then so the scientist on the left here, he's working on these mutations, and they finally develop a giant mound of chicken meat with chicken legs.
This part ruled. This was awesome.
And this is a close-up of what they look like. So they genetically modify these chickens and develop a headless, wingless chicken. It's
just like a hunk of meat with feet, right? That's
a hunk of meat with feet.
Yep.
So now you have the most efficient meat source.
Yeah. This was cool. This was like the kind of weirdness I can get into.
Yeah.
And then oddly, Marco develops a conscience and destroys these hideous creatures.
Yeah.
And then this is Lola Brigida, whatever the fuck her name is. She was in her 40s, by the way, when she made this movie.
Damn.
And she was later a guest or a guest on the Love Boat in the 70s. So then, so Marco is rigging this the grinder that where you grind stuff for chicken feed. So he's doing something, and he's rigging the bars there. And I love this. This is apparently another chicken conference.
Giant chicken picture.
That's what you would do in your agribusiness office building.
And so James is mentioning the music. I looked it up, and there was a soundtrack album released, and then it was reissued last year.
Wow.
Okay.
And then Bruno Maderna is the composer, and he calls it Bernard Herrmann meets Sun Ra. That's a great comparison.
James is way smarter than me, so because my comment was fuck this score, dissonant improv. I couldn't. I think I was just annoyed about everything. So
the music is a trip, that's for sure.
They do look like testicles with feet. So when he smashes them, it felt like he was taking back his balls.
Damn, that's deep.
And this is more.
I think James should take my place.
This is more egg set design.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is my one complaint about this movie is this scene, because this scene is confusing, but I think I can explain it. So Marco has been rigging the grinder machine, the area around the grinder, and then he sees a woman's foot near the grinder, and then he pulls this lever, and he hears a scream, and then he leaves. But the scream was actually Gabrielle. And it's sort of the way this scene is edited, I think, is confusing. Because I think what we're supposed to take away from this is that Marco thinks his wife is near the grinder machine, and then he pulls the switch, and then he thinks her screaming is her falling in and dying. But the scream was actually from Gabrielle, and then Gabrielle runs away. Because basically they explain it in the next scene, but it's not really conveyed very well in the actual edit. So this is the one thing, especially I was confused about watching it the first couple of times, like what actually was going on. But I definitely think that's what's supposed to be conveyed anyways. So Marco thinks that he, at this point, has killed his wife. Successfully. And then we go back to the hotel, and Mondani has scratches on his face, so it looks like he got into a scuffle. And then Marco goes back to the hotel, and his wife that he thought just he knocked into the grinder, she's dead in his hotel room. So he's like, what the hell? And I'm not so sure about these earrings. I don't know what you guys think about. It's funny that her idea of dressing up as a prostitute is to wear green, lime green orbs as earrings.
Very slutty.
Was that the slut color at the time?
I guess so.
Oh yeah.
I just ordered some of those for my wife.
And then it's revealed that these prostitutes weren't actually being killed, because this one takes off her thing, her gag. And I don't know about this hair either. The girl on the left.
It's crazy.
And then the cops show up to the hotel room, and the prostitutes that had previously been murdered are just hanging out in the hotel room. So it is thus revealed that Marco was not actually killing these women. It was just like a sexual role play thing.
So another thing you could almost compare to American Psycho.
And then so the Mondani and Gabrielle have a scene where they sort of explain all this. So basically, Mondani and Gabrielle were scheming together to. So Mondani actually murdered Anna and then left her body in Marco's hotel room with the idea that he would be, and then call the police with the idea that framing Marco for murder, the murder of his wife.
Yeah.
All right. So they're still explaining it. And I love the so now that we know Gabrielle's evil, like she has a frumpy face and she has the JD Vance eyeliner.
How dare you? She's an angel.
And she still makes it work.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so and then I'll do a recap of all this. So then while the cops are on his chase, Marco brings his dead wife back to the chicken farm to dispose of her body in the grinder. He notices that she has Mondani's it's not a necklace, it's a
bracelet.
Yeah, it's a bracelet. So she, before being killed by Mondani, she scratched his face and then grabbed his bracelet. So at this point, he knows that Mondani killed Anna once he sees the bracelet. But then he ironically just accidentally falls into the grinder that he rigged, which is a rookie mistake.
Yeah. What a chump.
And then Mondani and Gabrielle show up and they're like, why is her dead body here? And then the cops show up. And then I think it's implied that Gabrielle and Mondani are going to go to jail for this because they're taken by the cops to be interrogated, unless they have really good lawyers. And it ends with this shot
of this guy eating an egg. Yes, slurping it out of the shell.
As if I wasn't pissed off enough. I was like, could you be more Italian?
Yeah. Fuck that
We're
guy
ending
too.
with slurping a raw egg.
Yeah.
But yes, I was complaining to Eli for like 2 hours about this movie as I was watching it, and yes, I've calmed down. I've taken yours and James' points, and I'm not gonna say I'm gonna rewatch it soon, but I will be open to rewatching it now with the extra knowledge.
So to recap, okay, this is a wild plot. Basically, at the heart of once you get past all the craziness and the chickens, it's like instead of a love triangle, it's a quad. I don't know what you call that. A love quadrangle.
Yeah, a love quad.
And they're all scheming against each other, basically. That's
true.
At the heart. That's what's really going on in the movie.
Yeah.
So you think Marco's killing prostitutes, but he's not. And then his wife Anna thinks he's sleeping with prostitutes, and
which he is. And
Marco is sleeping with Gabrielle, and he thinks if he kills his wife, they'll run off together. But Gabrielle is actually scheming with her husband. Is Mondani is her husband, and so she's
I missed that too. I missed that they were married.
So, well, this you don't know that until like the last 5-10 minutes.
Oh, I might have been checked out by then.
So it might also depend about the the subtitles and all that. But the so what's going on is Gabrielle and Mondani, they're a married couple, and Gabrielle is scheming, pretending to be in love with Marco, so that to trick Marco into killing his wife, because once Marco, and then if Marco would then be arrested and Anna is dead, then the entire she's the cousin, she's the only living relative that we know of. She inherits everything, Gabrielle.
Yeah.
So this is the the cute innocent Gabrielle is really like the main schemer behind everything. And then the another kind of weird twist is, so you think Marco is the villain because he's starting off murdering prostitutes and trying to murder his wife, but he's really the only person that's not totally evil, in the sense that he develops a conscience and destroys those chickens. So he's the only one that sort of displays any kind of moral conscience between the four of them, even though he's starting off by, you think he's a serial killer.
And he's just a dickhead to everybody.
And then the other part of this is, so Marco was in the and I just love this as a plot idea. Like, this is again only in Italy would you come up with this. So, but Marco was plotting to kill his wife, and then Mondani is also plotting to kill his wife, and then frame Marco for it. If he had just waited, and Mondani says this in his big speech, if he had just waited and done nothing, Marco would have killed his wife. But he killed Mondani before Marco could kill his wife. Mondani killed his wife and then tried to frame Marco for killing his wife. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it would be like, I'm going to frame Scott. I'm going to murder Eli and frame Scott for it. While I'm doing that, Scott is going over to murder Eli.
Yep.
So if I just sat and done nothing, it would have taken care of itself.
Right.
So this is how twisty this thing is. Now, did that make sense?
Maybe that's how twisted I am. I was like, the only thing interesting about Marco is that he's a serial killer, and then he wasn't. And I was like, oh, what a fucking lame-o.
Yeah. So he's just an asshole. That's
he's
it.
Just a douche.
Well, he's also a sucker in that he believes Gabrielle this whole time that she loves him, and so
it's true.
Whatever his idea of running off with Gabrielle, it's all bullshit.
I can't fault him for that. I mean,
no,
she could fool me easily.
Yeah.
James suggests, he says, Gabrielle probably killed her parents. She cut the brake line when she was a little girl. Could be.
She's just an evil little lady.
I don't agree with this. I don't agree with besmirching Gabrielle. She's an angel.
Yeah, that's true.
Ava's also in a movie with Klaus Kinski called Death Smiles Upon a Murderer, where Klaus is like a mad scientist. And it's also a sort of a giallo at times.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, do you think
Did he horribly mistreat her on set?
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably. It's fair to assume.
So I think I explained the plot. Did I miss something?
I don't think so.
I mean, no, you told me more than I knew. So
yeah.
I'm
Whether
looking
it was
at
the
my
cut I
notes.
watched, or let's just say it was the cut I watched, not that I got all pissy and was like, this movie's stupid.
Yeah, again, check out to me the 91-minute cut. I think is the best version.
Okay.
Not the director's cut. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, and then part of it is that Marco's developing an alibi for his wife. So he bought her a plane ticket. He's telling people, yeah, she's going to this conference this weekend.
Right.
And then he also went to the hotel to develop an alibi. So it's like, yeah, I've been at the hotel while my wife went to Amsterdam, so I have no idea how she got murdered. No clue.
Okay. Yeah, I really was checked out at that point because I didn't pick up any of that.
All right. I think that's good. Any final thoughts, guys?
At least I really like the beginning. The opening credit scene was really cool, really trippy with all the like weird embryo under the microscope stuff. Do you remember that? Yeah, that was I like that part a lot.
Based on the discussion, I've turned around from fuck this movie forever to maybe I'll watch it again. So,
well, I think the first time I thought it was like that this movie is just a random bunch of stuff,
mm-hmm.
You know, because of the crazy editing and the score. Like this is just an art film with a bunch of weird stuff thrown together. But the plot does make sense, other than those two plot points: the scarf and the Luigi guy. And then I do think that scene, the editing is kind of fucked up and doesn't make a lot of sense, but they do kind of explain it in the next scene. But that was like rewatching, because I watched both cuts. That was sort of the revelation this time, is I finally figured out what that scene was when he thinks his wife is falling in the grinder.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It was like a revelation. Like, oh, I understand it now.
Okay. I would say cut out the dog for sure. You didn't need that.
No, not really.
And they have real, I don't know if this is in all the versions, but they do have real chicken death. But again, this is sort of, I'm sure the director was a vegan as well. He's like, this is, chicken farming is immoral.
Okay.
Let us strap ourselves into the chicken farm and, prevent the chicken farming. Let's prevent the evilness of Chicken McNuggets from happening.
Right. I mean, it's not a fun time for them, but I don't know. I grew up, both of my grandparents were farmers, so I guess I love animals. I love my pets, but animals like that I see differently than a lot of people. So
my grandma was
real chicken death. It wouldn't really bother me.
My grandma was from Memphis, and she would make bomb-ass fried chicken. What she used is she had a giant jar in her fridge that just said lard on it.
Oh shit!
She would
let's go.
The secret ingredient there.
She would like reuse lard and stick it in the jar, and then use that for the fried chicken. And it was bomb-ass fried chicken.
Damn, I want some of that right now.
All right, and then we'll leave it with James. He says he enjoyed it. I'm glad you brought it to my attention. I probably wouldn't have ever gotten around to watching it had it not been for Cinema Attacks. Thank you, James.
I definitely wouldn't.
Same here, probably. I mean, maybe eventually, but not for probably. I wouldn't have gotten to this probably for years.
And I would not call this a giallo. I think
No.
maybe it's an anti-giallo at best.
Yeah, because at the beginning, the scene with the glove, he kills the girl, then it shows him right away. So it's like, oh, whoa, okay, this is not a mystery giallo,
Because
he just likes wearing black gloves, fingerless gloves.
Usually a giallo is you have a hero and you have a killer, and the hero is trying to find out who the killer is,
Yeah.
and they're using their memory in some way.
Right.
Like I remember this guy, or I remember a clue or something. And in this movie, the hero is the killer, but he's not actually killing anybody. And then there is the memory thing with where but the memory aspect is he wants to lose his memory like his friend Luigi and forget his old life. So instead of he's trying to remember, he's trying to forget. So it's like inverted from any giallo tropes. And a lot of those tropes weren't really set in stone for another couple of years. I think it's more of a happy accident than anything.
Oh wow, that makes sense.
This is an extremely random detail. Have any of you guys had Campari?
No.
I know there are Campari ads all over this movie, and then he orders Campari and soda when he's meeting Gabrielle. I never had it. I guess some liqueur. I don't know. I just didn't know if you guys were familiar with it.
No,
I've had Jane B, but any like late 60s, 70s giallos, they're filled with Campari and Jane B.
Oh, so really?
Is Campari a scotch?
It's like a liqueur.
Oh, it's a liqueur. Okay.
It's red. I don't know. And whenever you read a description of it online, it's like, oh, it's infused with herbs and fruits. I was like, okay, well, that doesn't tell me nothing.
Yeah. Which herbs and which fruits?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that Campari and Jane B, they had like deals with movie studios to.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, that's if you watch a bunch of giallos, it's just filled with Campari and Jane B.
Campari, okay.
Weird.
Or just Italian genre movies in general. All right, so next week. So last week we talked about, I think it was last week, Jim Wynorski a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit. I think
I have a Jim Wynorski film next week. So Scott, I think you're going to like this one. Now I don't know if you guys have actually seen this one, but I have here the poster. This is The Lost Empire from 1985.
Holy shit! I've never actually seen it.
Me either.
Eli?
No, never seen it.
I think this is Jim Wynorski's finest hour, and I'm on record.
Wow.
So this is
better
basically
than Shopping Mall.
This is basically there is complicated plot to this one, but it doesn't matter.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I love that idea. Every movie should be like that.
Because I think as Jim just came up with a bunch of scenes he wanted to stick together, and the plot is just whatever. But basically, this is like a titty sci-fi woman in prison version of Enter the Dragon.
Hell yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So if you watch Enter the Dragon and we're like, I wish this was a women's prison movie with big titted babes and there's science fiction elements.
Yeah, that's the only way I think that movie should have been. Yeah. That's the director's cut, probably.
And yeah, so we'll do that next week. And thank you. So James had another comment. He said Fat Mike from NoFX drinks Campari and soda.
With a ton of alcohol. Like added alcohol to that Campari?
That's why he's so fucking fat.
Yeah. And
it's like alcohol and soda and sugar.
Like I bartended in the early 90s, and even then we didn't have Campari. Like I think I felt like it was even dead then, but
obscure, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
we should all try some Campari at one point.
I'll bring it next week.
I have an empty J&B bottle.
Okay.
But I think most people, if you drink alcohol, you've had a J&B at some point.
Yeah, J&B, yeah. That's standard.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to leave up some links if you want to contact me. I did have that those digital codes, and then the summer rental DVD. Yeah, Lost Empire is amazing, and it's just total nonsense. So just be aware. Like, don't be like, this wouldn't happen in real life. And another thing, I'll leave this is IMDb. Do you ever read IMDb trivia?
Not usually. Once in a while, I have though.
Like on a specific movie or just in general?
Just on specific movies. Basically, it's part of IMDb. Oh no, it's either the trivia or the goofs section, or the
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the goof section where people write in like there's a continuity error and they add it to the wiki.
Right.
And half of them are wrong. So the first one listed goof for Death Laid an Egg was that they say that the first murder scene there basically points out there's not blood on the knife, which is it's intentional because it's not an actual murder if you watch the movie.
That's a good point.
Because if you go back and watch the murders, there are hints that there's not an actual murder happening.
Yeah.
You just assume at the time you assume there are murders happening, so your mind just goes with it. I assume he's kind of like,
because it's like the blood is shooting out of the side of the knife, and so when he pulls it back, there's no actual blood on the knife.
Okay.
And there's other stuff like that in there if you rewatch it, and then somebody put that in. It's a continuity error. I'm like, dude, shut up.
I can see if you watched the first 20 minutes and gave up, you'd be like, oh, it's so fake, and not, yeah. So I understand, but yeah, that shouldn't be allowed to be posted.
Anyways, good night, everybody. Thank you, James. Thank you, Simon, Eli, Scott. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
yeah.
And here, James with
Simon
parting words.
Theodore.
Thanks, James. That's really nice.
All right. Good night. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah.
Signing off.
Signing off.